It is. Awesome. We've got Suzanne here from Niagara Falls, New York. That's not too far from me, Suzanne, just over the border. Leanna is here from Louisiana. Hey, Leanna. Hello, Nicole from Michigan. And Kevin from Boise, Idaho. I have a friend in Idaho. Awesome. It's amazing to have you all join us. We're just going to be getting started. Another quick tech check. Addie, can you see me on the camera? Am I on the camera now at this point? Or is it all good? Okay, perfect. So I'm really excited to have you join us, and I know Mark's excited too. Mark and I have been working together for a long time. I'm with Napkin Marketing. We're a digital marketing agency here in Toronto, and On the Mark has been working for credit unions for over 2 decades, based in Texas. And the two of us are going to be giving our different perspectives, with the main goal being about membership acquisition, which is really the main priority with all the credit unions that we work with. So this is your chance to zero in on that goal, ask questions, and see a variety of both on the strategic level and I'll be talking more about really getting in on the details and the tactical level about how we can all learn from the best practices out there in the credit union world, and how we can really zero in and help you with your member acquisition using digital strategy and SEO. So I'm really excited to introduce my colleague, Mark. He's an acclaimed speaker and expert in branding, training, and strategic marketing for all businesses, but focusing in on credit unions and banks. Mark's also an acclaimed author of Marked for Success, Daily Ideas to Help Your Financial Institution Succeed. And I know he speaks at FI conferences all over the US, and has built an amazing agency and financial institutions, clients. And take it away, Mark. He's going to be talking to you on the strategy side and something called swiping right.
Great. Thank you so much, Adina. It's great to be with you guys. And I hope you heard her Canadian accent when she said the word about. Did you guys hear that? Those of you in the States, right? And for those of you in Canada, I'll try and throw in a few y'alls and yeehaws, and I'll lay on that thick Texas accent when I can. But it is great to be here with you guys talking about member acquisition. It's a huge subject for many credit unions, no matter where you are. And speaking of that, if you haven't already, plug in the chat section where you're from, right? Or as we like to say in Texas, where y'all at? Where y'all from? Just throw in there in the chat section if you haven't already where you're coming from. Great to be with you guys today again. And when it comes to member acquisition, as I said earlier, many credit unions are struggling with that issue.
Sorry, I can't see what we're sharing. Are we sharing Mark's presentation?
You should be seeing my presentation. Is that right?
Addie, is it sharing Mark's?
You need to just stop sharing your screen and then we'll be able to see Mark's.
Perfect.
I have to figure out how to stop sharing.
Give it a quick pause while I work through here.
Sorry, they have changed. Has it stopped sharing now?
We there yet? Good. I'm going to stop sharing
mine. Stop share. Got it. Sorry, guys.
Got it? Good.
Yes.
All right. All right. So we're back together again to talk now. Now you guys seen that? See my screen, I hope. So again, member acquisition. And by the way, thank you guys for jumping in and saying where you're all from. That's wonderful. Again, great to have different accents on this session today. But as I was saying, member acquisition, it's a huge problem for so many credit unions, yet gaining new members is the lifeblood of any credit union. If we don't acquire new members, right, eventually we'll be on a slow path to death. And so we need those new members. And member acquisition really, as you think about it, it kind of is like a dating service to some degree, right? It's a little bit like digital dating. You want to get members to swipe right on you. For those of you that use digital dating apps, right? You want members to swipe right on you, but how? How do you do that? We're going to cover that today from a digital perspective, but also from a strategy perspective. And I'm going to start off just by giving you 5 strategic aspects and 5 strategic growth initiatives you need to take place at your credit union in order to acquire new members. And then after that, Adina is going to give you some very practical, tactical things that you can do on the digital side. So with that, we're going to give you the kind of the 5 growth strategies. Growth strategy number 1 is to tell your brand story. Before you dive into digital tactics and SEO and SEM and all the different things that she's going to go into, you need to tell your brand story first and foremost. And when I say branding, right, we're not talking about your logo or your color scheme. We're really talking about who you are, who your members are, who you're trying to reach. We love to tell our clients that branding is what people say about you when you're not in the room. That's what branding is. You need to tell your brand story. Branding is far more cultural than collateral. It's who you are, and you need to tell your brand story. Now, as you do so, there are 3 C's to a strong brand. You can give any brand a 3C reality test to make sure it's strong. 1 is clarity. Are you clear about who you are and who you're trying to reach? You've got to be clear. But then are you consistent? From every interaction from your members to every time you interact, is it consistent? I will tell you, a lot of credit unions struggle with that second C, consistency, because a lot of credit unions, a member will go to one branch and maybe they don't get the experience or they don't get the answer they wanted. They'll drive clear across town to another branch of the same credit union to get a different answer because there's no consistency. You need to have consistency in your brand. And third is constancy, constantly being out there. You want to be able to do that. Why is branding so important? Because if branding is wrong, everything else is wrong as well. You've got to have a strong brand and tell your brand story. As you think about that, there are also a brand triangle model that we like to use. We say this, there are 3 legs to a brand triangle. The first is leadership, your executive team, your board. Those of you on this call, your job is to lead the brand, determine your vision, your target audiences. But then your employees, front office, back office, have to live the brand. Doesn't matter what you say it is. If your employees aren't living, it doesn't matter. And then third leg of the brand triangle are your members. And those are your existing and potential members. If you're leading the brand, if your employees are living the brand, then your members will love the brand. The most successful brands, again, today tell their stories, and you need to do that as well. But as you think about that, your brand story must be unique. It can't be like everybody else's story. Your credit union is unique. And you got to think about that. What makes your credit union different from all the other financial institutions out there? What makes it different? So you've got to be able to answer that question. And by the way, the answer is not service. It's not community, right? And it's not people, because everybody uses those words. You've got to be able to answer this question. What makes your credit union different without those 3 words, right? So I want to toss that out into the chat section now. I don't want you guys to answer that question. Just type in there if you feel free to do so. What does make your credit union different? But you can't use the word service, people, or community. What would you say? What makes you different? Jump in there if you don't mind and kind of type in the chat section. What makes it different? What makes your credit union different without those words? Feel free to type in there and we'll see if we get a couple answers going. What makes your credit union different without that? Ooh, I like it, Kevin. We are a force for good, my friend Kevin. I think that's some lots of good. Way to go. We are a force. I love that. Is so different. That is so unique. I love it. Rates, says Destiny. Excellent answer there. Rates. Very good. What makes your credit union different? I love this. Jasmine says 100% deposit guarantee. Wow, that's a strong differentiator. Excellent. And again, we say we give people the tools they need to crush their financial goals. I love that word, crush. That's really strong. Not meet, crush their goals. Excellent. Provide solutions for their financial journey, for each financial journey. I like the word each there because that's unique. It's unique to them. I love that. I love what you said. Honest answer here from Joshua. Nothing currently, but we're on the path. That's an honest answer, right? It all starts with your brand. Here's an example. We were helping a client recently, and They were not unique. They weren't able to answer that question. We dove deeply into their brand story. They began to tell their story. Then they really developed and redesigned a new strategic brand. Then they invested in some digital marketing efforts, and they began to see new member acquisition grow because they started with their story, and they went into the whole digital side, invested heavily in that, and now they're seeing that pay off for them. But it starts with your brand story. All right, growth strategy number 2 is get real with your website. Get real with your website. You know, it's challenging now. Actually, when it comes to service, in recent surveys, banks are now beating credit unions at service. It's hard to believe. It's mind-blowing research, but it's true. And why is that? Because how consumers define service has changed. Now it's all about digital and how fast your site is, how great your platform is on the mobile end as well. You've got to get real with your website, get real with your digital platform as well, because people now they're not reading, they're watching, they're on their apps, they're on their phones, they're on their iPads all the time. You've got to get real with your website. It's so important. Why? Because simplicity wins. Simplicity wins. How simple is it to get a loan at your credit union mobily? How simple is it to join your credit union remotely? How many hurdles are we put into place? The reality is simplicity wins. And you've got to consider your site, your website. And when I'm using the word website, but I'm also here talking mobile devices as well. When we design websites for credit unions now, we actually start on the mobile devices first, design it there first, because the reality, this is how people are viewing your site. So you got to design it mobily first. But you got to get real with it. Why is that? 75% of consumers judge a business's credibility by their website. They are judging your credibility. 75% are judging your credibility by your site. Is it up to date? Does it look fresh? Is it unique? Is it different? That's such an important stat to think about, right? And it's fascinating. Credit unions will spend $3 million on a new branch, yet they'll choke and balk at spending $30,000 on a new website. Yet more and more people are coming to your site long before they come into your branch. And you've got to notice, what does your site do? How does it open? How do you open new accounts? Are you doing that in a great way and things like that, right? As you think through it, you've got to act with your website. Now, what do I mean by that act? It's an acronym, ACT. You got to attract new members with your site. Then you have to convert them to new members and then transform them with additional products and services. You attract, you convert, and then you transform. You can't get them to transform the new products and services until you attract them. How attractive is your website? All right, honestly, think of it. How attractive is it? Going back to the dated analogy we said earlier to start this webinar off with, right? You've got to be attractive. Your website has to be attractive in order to get new members. Some of us are not getting new members because our website looks old. Our website looks dated. And the reality is that's a massive barrier to that. What do you think about that? I like what Steve Jobs said. He said, design, again, is not what it looks and feels like. Design is how it works. How does your website work? How is it working? Is it slow? Is it clunky? You can spend tons of money attracting new members to your site. But when they get there, what does it look like? What are you communicating? What are you saying out there? Here's an example. We were working with a client recently, and their member acquisition was flat. They weren't growing. And one reason was because their website was dated. It was way out of date. So when we began working with them, one of the very first things we did was help them redesign their site to make it more fresh, to make it pop, bring in some new elements, things they didn't have in the past. Once they did that, they began to see new member growth as well as loan growth in other areas because their website was more attractive. You got to be able to do it from your perspective as well. So one thing you need to think about, you need to redesign your website. Honestly, right now, trend-wise, it's about every 2 to 3 years. Every 2 to 3 years, you need a fresh site. Not because necessarily you think your site is old, but speed is moving so fast now in the financial services industry that honestly, once you're at 2 or 3 years, it's amazing how quick and how fast your site can get dated. So that's kind of the second growth strategy, is to get real with your website, have an honest look at it. Third growth strategy, again, thinking big picture here strategy wise, is hyper personalization wins. Hyper personalization wins. Everybody is sending emails today. No one wants emails. They want me-mails, right? They want me-mails. They want emails targeted specifically to them. And in the second half of the webinar, that's one of the good things you'll be talking about, is how do you kind of get that personalization from a digital perspective, right? We've got to be able to look at it from that side of things. Too many of us in our marketing efforts are spraying and praying, right? We're spraying and praying. We're just spraying our marketing message out there and praying someone sees it. That's not the way to do that. You've got to use your data that you have at your credit, and you have tons of data at your credit. You know so much about your members. You need to hyper personalize that data and send specific messages to specific members. You know, it's almost like Cheers marketing, that great sitcom back in the 80s, right? When a particular patron would walk into the bar, they'd all say, Norm, right? They'd call him by his name. Then he would sit in his seat at the bar and they'd serve him his beer. We kind of need to do the same thing with our marketing efforts. We need to market specific products to specific members where and when they want them. That is hyper personalization. I love the quote from Donald Miller. He says this, quote, niches lead to riches. Niches lead to riches. Part of your brand strategy and growth strategy needs to be, who are you trying to reach, right? Who are you trying? You need to hyper personalize that. Here's an example. This is San Francisco Fire Credit Union. I love what they've done here, right? They offer personal loans. Now they're in San Francisco. So what they have done, if you look over there, kind of on that screenshot to the right, you see bicycle loans, you see pre-K through 12 tuition loans, you see solar loans. Those are very specific to their membership. They're in San Francisco where public transportation is challenged. So they have a lot of bicycles, right, in the area. So, and bicycles, if you ever own one, they're very expensive. So what San Francisco Fire Credit Union has done, they've offered specific products to that they know their niches need and want. They've really dived into that and done a fantastic job of zeroing in on that hyper personalization marketing and done a great job with that, right? Niches lead to riches. And they're doing a great job focusing in on that. You've got to immerse yourself in your niche. You know, as you think about that, here's an example. We were conducting a strategic planning session for a client a few years ago, and I was talking to their chairman and their CEO prior to the planning session. And he asked them this question. I said, tell me, who are you trying to reach? And they came back and they said, there's kind of a long pause. Then they came back and they said, yes. So wait a minute, you don't understand the question. Let me ask again, who are you trying to reach? And they said, yes. It turns out they were trying to be all things to all people in their entire state. It was a terrible business model. We really had to start their planning session drilling down on what were their niches, who are they trying to reach. We were able to do that, help them with their brand, get even more specific on a hyper-personalization perspective. Now they're well over $1 billion in assets, not by targeting the masses, but by zeroing in on a niche. Why? Because hyper-personalization wins. We've got to focus in on that. And that is the beauty of some of the digital efforts you're about to see in a few minutes, is you can really personalize what you're offering to your members and to your potential members as well. But that's growth strategy number 3. Growth strategy number 4, big picture perspective here, is you need to implement a comprehensive content marketing strategy. What content are you sending members and potential members? Is it just noise? Are you sending them something that they really want and they really need? And through this, we recommend kind of a wheel process or a wheel strategy, where you start there with your digital strategy and marketing funnel. It all starts with your strategy. The worst thing you can do is, again, I said, kind of spray and pray and just send out messages and have no strategy behind it. you've got to enter the funnel or enter the wheel that way. Then from there, as I said earlier, you kind of go to your website design and redevelop. You really make sure it's your website, because you can attract all the people you want, but if your website honestly is sorry, it's not going to help. Then you move into the SEO and social media marketing, email marketing. Here's some different examples of that. But that's the strategy. You know, it starts with strategy. Then you move into the PPC and the email, the retargeting, geo-targeting, all those great bells and whistles that we're going to talk about in the second half that you absolutely need to have effectiveness. But it starts there with what is your content? What is your messaging? Then you link that to your digital. And that's the beauty. That's when you really start cooking with gas, as we say down here in Texas, right? But one approach to use with your content and digital marketing is to use a hub and spoke strategy with your content, right? Hub and spoke, where one area is your hub. Maybe that is, you know, your blog as an example. That could be your hub, so to speak, where you create one piece of content, say a great blog post on financial services or budgeting tips. Then you spoke that one blog post out, maybe into a short YouTube video, maybe you turn it into an Instagram post, maybe you do an infographic or a listicle on your site, maybe you repost it on Facebook, all different spokes from that one piece of content, whatever. That's what we call a hub and spoke strategy with content marketing. It's a great way, and that's where, again, as you're going to see in there, Adina in a few minutes going to dive into that deeply. But that's an overall great approach, is what's that one or two piece of content that you can spoke out over 6, 7, 8, or even 9 different digital areas, to where you're not having to reinvent and do all new visuals and copyright and things like that. You do that one post, you repurpose it, because each channel is different and you need to tweak it for the channel. But you take that one core essence and then you spike it out, or you spoke it out from there. But you really want to use that content in digital marketing. That's a fourth growth strategy, is make sure you have a great content and digital marketing strategy. Fifth and final kind of growth strategy, big picture perspective, before we toss it now talk tactically, is you need to assess your marketing. Marketing touches everything, from the boardroom to the break room to the bathroom. Your marketing touches everything. Some of you, quite honestly, don't have a new member acquisition problem or challenge. You have a marketing problem. Your marketing message is not working. It's not hitting the right areas. And so that could be the concept. Here's an idea to think about. A marketing assessment leads to better strategy. A marketing assessment leads to better strategy. Now, what the heck's a marketing assessment? It's where you go in and you look at all of your marketing, from A, annual report, to W, your website, and everything in between, to determine, is it hitting the mark? Yes, the pun is intended. Are you hitting the mark with your marketing, right? A good marketing assessment will come back with 5, 6, 7, or 8 strategic recommendations, 5 to 10 tactical recommendations that you can implement right away to improve your marketing. That's what a marketing assessment does. It really looks at it from an outside perspective. Here's an example. This is a concept called the Johari window. What is this? Well, the Johari window says there are things you know that others know. That's obvious, that upper left-hand quadrant. Those things are obvious. There are things you know that others don't. That's internal knowledge. How to calculate debt-to-income ratio. All those kind of things when it comes to reading a credit report. You guys know that because we eat, live, and breathe credit unions all day long. That's some internal knowledge that probably most consumers don't have. Then that bottom right-hand corner is unknown. It's kind of going to go up or down. No one really knows, right? That's an unknown. But here's the key, is the upper right-hand quadrant. And that is things others know, you don't. Those are your blind spots. And we all have them. My company has them. Your credit union has them. Certainly when it comes to marketing, many of us have blind spots in our marketing. And a good marketing assessment needs to be done from the outside. You're too close to it. You can't see your own blind spots. That's why they're called blind spots. You need someone from the outside to come in and assess, do an honest assessment of your marketing, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And honestly, you correct marketing, you get it working correctly, your new membership will grow. Here's an example. We're working with the credit union last year. we're wanting to enter some new markets. They're entering into kind of a growth phase. They really wanted to grow their credit both in new members and loans and checking accounts. And they're about to go into new markets, but they weren't 100% sure, was their marketing going to work? Was their new messaging going to work? And so we came in and did a marketing assessment for them and gave them those strategic recommendations, the tactical recommendations. We looked at their marketing budget. Were they spending too much, too little, just right? We looked at all aspects of their marketing. Here's what their CEO said after we did the audit. When she said this, it floored me. She said this, quote, "We have learned to glance at our competitors and glare at ourselves." Glance at our competitors and glare at ourselves. What a powerful quote. She really understood that, you know what? If we can improve ourselves, we improve our entire credit, and then we really improve. If we improve internally with our marketing, we improve externally with our member acquisition growth. Once they implemented those strategies and tactics, they began to see growth. They've successfully entered some new markets, and they are seeing what they wanted to, which was growth, right? I love that famous quote from John Wanamaker. He says, "I know half my advertising dollars are wasted. I just don't know which half," right? And the truth is, we need to know, what's the ROI of our marketing? Is it working? Is it not working? A good marketing assessment will answer that ROI question, right? So one thing you need to consider is to conduct a marketing assessment. When you do that, you will see growth. It's not a gotcha audit, right? It's a help you audit. It's a way to really dive deeply into how can you grow your marketing area. Bottom line, you improve marketing, you improve the entire credit, and you improve in growing new members and new loans. So I'm about to toss it now back over to Adina, but before doing so, we want to continue to connect. Here's some of my contact information. We'll end it on the overall marketing webinar here in just a minute, but you can follow me on LinkedIn at jmarkarnold. We'd love to connect with you on LinkedIn if we're not already connected. If you have any questions on some of those strategies I presented, yeah, you can email me at mark@markarnold.com. And then at the end of the webinar, we're also going to talk about forging a Goldilocks institution. It's a free download we'll send you. It's on how marketing constancy makes your credit just right for consumers, using the Goldilocks analogy. The reality is, in too many cases, right, we're too cold, too hot. We need to be just right for our members. And I started out my little section here on strategy talking about the dating analogy and swiping right. I want to end on a story of my wife and I's first date. It was back when I was a senior in high school, and I was determined to go to homecoming that year. And so I asked Cheryl Stripling, the captain of the swim team, "Hey, do you want to go to homecoming? We will have a great time." And she said, "Not with you." I said, "Oh, bummer." Then I asked Lisa from the drill team, "Hey, you want to go to homecoming? We've been going to high school. We'll have a great time." And she said, "No, I don't think so. Not with you." And so I'm just thinking, my gosh, right? I'm a total loser. So sitting there in English class, and Michelle McSweeney was in front of me, and I said, "Michelle, will you please go to homecoming with me?" No, I didn't say it like that, but I did ask her, and she said, "Sure, we'll have a great time." So we went to the football game Friday night. Next night, we went to the homecoming dance, had a wonderful time. Then we began to date our senior year in high school, went to college together. Happy to say this year, we're going to celebrate our 35th wedding anniversary. Now, I tell you that story to say, right, we need to consistently do marketing. You're going to hear no the first time. You might hear it the second time, but you know what? That third time, you're going to get a member for life if indeed you employ these strategies. So with that, I'm going to stop my screen share, toss it over to napkin marketing, and our good friend Adina. Take it away. Where do we go from here?
Great question. And thank you so much for a great presentation. Happy anniversary, Mark. That's amazing. And I'm just wondering if it's all about like swiping right, does that make us Tinder or Hinge? No, you're actually so lucky you missed the whole online dating.
Yes, we
phase.
did.
You're so lucky you met your wife before that whole phase.
Yes.
You missed the whole dumpster fire there. So I'm super excited to follow that, Mark, and now kind of take you into some of the details and get into some of the weeds of search engine optimization. How do we apply some of this great strategy that we're learning? Before I start, can you guys all see my presentation?
Yes.
Just say yes in the chat if you can see. Awesome. Okay, perfect. So diving right in here, what I'll be covering is basically how you can use SEO and digital advertising, both on Facebook and Google, to build and attract new members to your credit union. We'll also be talking a little bit about some of the best practices to making your website convert and what we're seeing out there. So diving right in, I know a lot of you are new to napkin marketing. So just a little bit about me. I've been doing digital marketing and advertising since 1999. Dating myself big time here. Founded Napkin Marketing about 14 years ago and worked in corporate marketing in Canada before then. Rogers Media, which is our version of AT&T, as well as Yahoo Canada, and some of the biggest trade publishers here in Canada. Besides helping credit unions and financial institutions, we work with higher education, we work with tech and SaaS companies, and we've got the cool distinction of being both an AdWords and a MailChimp partner. So we're able to help businesses with, we don't just do AdWords, we do Facebook, Google, Instagram, paid ads, as well as LinkedIn ads. But we've got the certification also for MailChimp, so we can help you with kind of the full circle of digital marketing on the email side so that you're doing kind of a 360-degree communication. I've also spoken at events across Canada and trade shows and worked with hundreds of businesses in both the US and Canada, and working with credit unions and FIs since 2015. So excited to work with you. And behind Napkin is our amazing team, some of which, if you want to say hi, Addie and Tam are on the line today, and our terrific account managers. But we've got a team of creative specialists, SEO specialists, paid ads, PPC specialists on our team to kind of, again, support our clients with the full spectrum of digital marketing with all their needs. So, and it takes a team effort to do it. And our specialty, and I know there's a lot of smaller credit unions here registered, our specialty is kind of working with the one-man or two-man or two-woman marketing departments where you're expected to do everything. But in reality, if you can see the number of people on our team and the number of people specializing, you really do, like, marketing used to be like being a doctor. You could get away with being a general practitioner, but now you need to have, you need to be a heart surgeon, a gynecologist, a dermatologist. So you need to have all the specialties, and you really could go into in depth for all one. And these are a few, just some of our work for different credit unions, Alternative Savings, Parama, and Home Life Mortgages. So doing everything from email marketing to digital ads to web design, and also working closely with Mark's team on all of those projects. So diving right in, a little bit of just a to sweeten the deal. If you do stay till the end, as Mark said, we have some amazing giveaways, one of which is everybody here on the call will actually get a customized SEO report. There is a website, a tool on our website that provides a customized SEO audit. It's an instant audit that generates as soon as you put in your URL and information. So Addie's going to be sharing that later in the chat, and I'll be showing you how to interpret that report, as well as Mark's strategy guide about forging a Goldilocks institution, which I assume is not too big, not too small, just right. I think what you mean by that, Mark. And of course, we're also offering complimentary road mapping and strategy sessions with me and Mark to move forward on any of the learnings you learned today. So when we break down SEO, what I'll be covering, because this is a short webinar, we can't cover everything today. What we'll really be covering in terms of member acquisition is organic search, search engine marketing. So what I mean by that is paid Google ads, paid search, and paid social. And why should you care about these? Well, all of these are aimed, they're not the only channels, but they're the main channels. The main goals of doing all of these activities is to get traffic to your credit union website and to convert that traffic into members. Those aren't the only channels. They're the ones I'll be focusing on, but there's also email, organic social and video, and referrals and local reputation. So your regular referrals are people, coming into your credit union off the street, knowing you from your community, and referrals from other members. So just before I go too deep in here, feel free to text in the chat. There's 6 main strategies I just mentioned here. Which of these, give me a 1 if you're using one of them, give me a 2 if you're doing, focusing your marketing on 2 of them, give me a 6 if you're doing all 6. So just to see kind of what people's level is at right now. People 6, oh good, some 5s and 6s, awesome. Cool, yeah. So like I said, they're all important, but I'll just be focusing on 3 today, and we'll have to save the rest for another webinar. So again, why should you care about SEO? It's about bringing more visitors to your website, more members, getting more assets under your portfolio and more loans under your management. And when I talk about, like, a lot of times clients ask me, what's better? Google advertising or trying to rank organically on Google. So what's better, SEM, search engine marketing, or SEO, search engine optimization, which is getting ranked organically? And I always tell people it's kind of like going to the gym. When you're working on your SEO, it's like you're working out in the gym, you're doing strength training. It takes time to see the results versus doing SEM, a little bit more like going to the plastic surgeon, and getting liposuction or taking some of the cool medication that's out there nowadays. So it's a little more of a quick solution, not a bad solution, but it's a different way to get there. Now, the downside of SEM is once you stop paying, the effects go away. But with SEO, it's basically, the way I also explain it to people is it's like an asset that you're building. So once you build content that attracts the searches, unless that content is removed from your site, that will keep working for you for years and years. So I'll get into content building, but once you create the right content that attracts the right searches, a blog post can generate traffic to your website I have blog posts literally generating traffic to my website now for the last 10 years. So I also like to explain this as the 3 kind of food groups. So content creation, keyword research, and link building are all the 3 main parts of SEO. Think about it as, you can tell I'm going to the gym. So think about it as your fats, proteins, and carbs. So you need all 3. And I'll be getting into kind of deep dive into each one. So the first thing I put together here is the top 30 keywords that you could look at for credit unions. So when you're looking at keywords, when you're doing keyword research and thinking about what keywords you should rank for, one of the most important things is look internally. So see what is your community looking for. This is a general list, but also taking a look at what search volume. So the main thing to think about is not exactly like which keyword, but having that intentionality of saying, we're going to try to rank for a certain keyword. And what's guiding that decision is oftentimes search volume. So for example, this tells you how many searches monthly there are in the US for different keywords. So for example, mortgage calculator, huge keyword, 34 million searches a month for mortgage calculator. The same with auto loan calculator, car loan calculator, ATM near me. So these are big searches and the big search volume keywords. And one thing to remember about big search volume keywords is it's also going to be competitive to rank on that keyword. So if you want to show up for mortgage calculator, you're competing against every bank in America and Canada who might have a mortgage calculator. So what I often tell credit unions is try to rank for smaller volume keywords, but do really well in those keywords. So even if you're ranking for like, camper loan calculator, maybe you're ranking for, you can get on page 1 for camper loan calculator, but you get all the people searching for camper loans, and you get a lot of traffic based on those searches. Now, camper loans might not be right for your credit union. That might not be what your clientele is typically looking for. Maybe it's motorcycle loans, maybe it's boat loans, maybe it's debt consolidation. So this is, again, like a general list, but what we typically do when we sit down with individual credit unions is we customize a list that makes sense for you. But I thought this is a good guidance to see how do different credit unions right now, how are they succeeding on ranking on these different searches? So to just as a little case study to get us thinking, I picked out credit union versus bank. It's also a big searched keyword. 14,800 searches on credit union versus bank. And interestingly enough, bank versus credit union only gets 5,400 searches. Why? I don't know the answer to that, but that's just how it is. But this is an interesting search term because someone who's searching bank versus credit union, if you think about their intent when they are doing that kind of search, maybe they're looking to open a bank account, maybe they're just researching credit unions. But this is a good opportunity if you're in front of them on that search, if you're on page 1 on Google, to get a new customer, right? So let's see who's doing well on that search called credit union versus bank. So that's, again, 14,800 searches, pretty competitive. But we do see that there's 2 credit unions in the top 10 positions this is showing who's in the top 10 for credit union versus bank. Right. So when we look at like who's in the top 10 in general, a lot of these are going to be big companies like NerdWallet, content companies, not necessarily credit unions, but you can still compete and still earn a spot in those positions. So we can see that Credit Union 1 and Patelco, another credit union, both made it in the top 10. So how did they do it? So we use a tool called SEMrush to kind of dig in the details of this. But I'm going to give you the highlights while that report generates. So let's take a look at what did Credit Union 1 do to earn that spot. So when we take a look at Credit Union 1, they have, move this, they actually have a page with a good lengthy article about what's the difference between a credit union and a bank. They also made about a 3-minute YouTube video where if you watch this, I'm seeing your questions, Mr. McCollum. And I think, yes, you can do this with Moz as well. Moz is like a competitor to SEMrush. So having an article and having a YouTube video on the term you want to show up for will take you a long way on actually ranking for that term. And this isn't a huge credit union either. So we could see that. I'm going to click to their YouTube video, and 2-minute YouTube video. I think this is a commercial, but again, you can see they don't have a lot of subscribers either. So you don't have to have, a Hollywood level video here. Just have to have a good, well-written article and a YouTube, and you can be placing and getting traffic for those big searched keywords. Another thing that we see, if we take a look at Patelco, which is number 7 on that keyword, they have, again, a nice lengthy article, but they're also doing things on their code of their website. So in their on-page meta tags, they have the ultimate guide to credit union versus bank, credit union versus bank, which one is right for you. So the words credit union versus bank are all over their page. They're all within their meta tags. So this page is very well optimized for those keywords. So again, this isn't, they're not doing anything magical here. They're probably, created this page years ago, but it's continuing to generate traffic for them organically just by having those elements in place. So another search, like take a look at a smaller, is this making sense to you guys so far? Give me a yes if with YouTube videos, is it better to embed? I think as long as you also have the video actually on YouTube, you can embed it. It's still hosted on YouTube. A lot of people don't know that besides Google, YouTube is the #2 place that people are searching. When they're like most searches nowadays actually start on YouTube and increasingly on Instagram. So if you want to develop content that people are becoming watchers rather than readers. So whereas if I was doing this presentation 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I would have really focused in on articles and blogs and written content. Now I'm saying make videos because the Google algorithm is rewarding video creation, especially, and we all know that Instagram is becoming all about video. It has been for a while, and TikTok. So again, this is something that the Google algorithm rewards, and it's going to help you get a lift on your rankings that way. So taking a look at like a less search term, this still gets 2,400 searches a month on credit union mortgage rates. And again, think about the intent of someone searching credit union mortgage rates. They're probably shopping for a mortgage. This is a great time to get in front of them. I know I recently became a credit union member for the first time in my life, just about a year and a half ago. Probably not a good thing to say in this crowd, but the reason I became a credit union member was the rate was great. So, and I know like one of the biggest reasons you're going to get new members is you're offering attractive mortgage rates, loan rates, auto loan rates, or the financing they're looking for. So thank you, Debbie. I am happy in my credit union. So I know what got me in is the mortgage rate that they offered. And a lot of people will be looking, if they're looking for credit union mortgage rates, these are the people you want to be in front of. They're searching with intent. They're searching for a mortgage. So if we look at the credit unions who are doing well on this search term, some of the big ones, I know UWCO, I know Navy Federal is a huge one. So we're going to see what's getting them to this #1 spot or into this top 10. So when you look at like, these are the positions. So these are all credit unions in the top 10. But one thing to also look at is look at how many backlinks the top 10 credit unions have. So this #1 position credit union has 485 backlinks. They have the page AS is authority score. So they have pages with high authority linking to them. A high authority page is something like a newspaper, a government page, an educational institution, a not-for-profit. So it's about the amount, it's about what I just showed you, having the right content, having keywords in your pages, but it's also about the backlinks you can score to link back to your page that you're trying to promote. So we'll be talking a little bit more about that, but let's take a look at their content first. We know that Provident Credit Union was in that top 10. And what's Provident doing well to get them into the credit union mortgage rates top 10? Well, they have a mortgage rates page like most credit unions have. They also have low mortgage rates and mortgage rate keywords built into their meta tags. But what else are they doing? So they're getting their keywords right. They're getting their backlinks right. So if we did like looked under the hood of Provident's backlinking strategy, these are some of the backlinks they have. And these are the page authority scores of those backlinks. So again, like when we work with our clients, we build your backlinks every month. We create backlinks. So we source the backlinks for you so that every month you're gaining at least a dozen new backlinks, depending on what you're doing with us. So let's take a look at where is Provident getting these backlinks. So they've got one from Zendesk, which is probably their own help article. They've got two here from Zendesk. They have an article on the balance money. And a lot of times, some clients are like intimidated by saying, hey, no one's really going to cover us. How do we get articles published? A lot of these articles will, you can publish as advertorials, team bind, and then some of these are, again, free directories that you can get listed in, whether you're having someone internal build this or someone like us build them for you. But you can see kind of here of like how they're getting their backlinks and reverse engineer. And again, like if this is actually publicly available information, almost feels illegal to be able to get this much detail on a company or a credit union, but this is the kind of analysis we do at the beginning of a project to see like, hey, let's take a look at your top 3 competitors. Where are they getting their backlinks? Maybe we can get backlinks at the same place, right? So again, like that's kind of a sneak preview of backlinks. I'll be going back to backlinks in a second, but another keyword here, RV loan, is an interesting one. So who's doing well when it comes to RV loan searches? And again, MacU, again, a big credit union, but they've developed a lot of content so that they're showing up on RV loan, and they're beating the big banks if you look at it. So they're number 4. US Bank is number 1, and they're ahead of America First. So let's take a look at what MacU is doing to rank on RV loan. They actually have an RV loan calculator, which is always smart to do, because if someone's looking for a loan, they're definitely looking for a calculator. And what we recommend is try to build into your calculator form a mechanism so that when they calculate their loan payment, they're also able to send themselves a report, and you're able to collect their information as a lead. So don't just, you give your calculator away for free, but try to develop that into a lead generation vehicle as well. Another thing you might notice here on their page is a lot of credit unions are now offering an online appointment option on. Give me like a yes, or if you're offering online calendar appointments on your website right now, because that's a big trend we're seeing and very important for conversion, because people don't want to have to call your credit union, talk to your receptionist, book the appointment, go back and forth. They want to be able to make the appointment right now. So that's really important, and something I really recommend for conversion. And again, going back to RV loans, we can see MacU's got all the meta tags built in here properly. And they're doing a lot of blogging. So this is the old school SEO strategy, but still works, about, how to protect your RV, liability, insurance coverage, tips for buying an RV. So all of this, creating kind of a content ecosystem around your target keywords is still really important. So back to backlinks. Backlinks are mysterious for a lot of companies. How do we get backlinks? What kind of backlinks should we get? How does it all work? So basically, as I mentioned, Google rewards several things when they're deciding with their algorithm who ranks higher. They want a relevant website. So the relevance is determined by the content on your website. Whether, if someone's searching for RV loan, Google looks through, the millions of websites, says which website mentioned that they offer an RV loan. Oh, this one's got a blog post about an RV loan. This one's got a calculator for an RV loan. One's got, RV loan in the meta tags. So those must be authoritative websites. But they also look at another thing. They're also like, these websites could all be bullshitting me. Which other websites are vouching for them being good on RV loan. So if, like the local newspaper has an article about you of like, where to get your RV loans, or if someone's blogging about you and they mention, if you need an RV loan, go to Credit One, or, if you have a business directory that mentions RV loan, those all send signals to Google that, hey, this is a verified company that offers what it's claiming to offer. So some of the ways to get backlinks could be really surprising to you. There are probably things you're doing in your community right now, such as sponsoring sports teams, sponsoring a charity, doing social media, getting listed on government sites, even your employment listings, getting on business directories, putting out press releases, or even posting on job sites will get you valuable backlinks. So like I said, it helps the Google algorithm see you as authoritative. The higher quality your backlink, the more the beneficial it is for your rankings. And a lot of backlinks are available for free, and you can reverse engineer your competitors to see what backlinks they have to see what you can generate for your credit union. And I just put a list here of some high authority backlinks that you can get, pretty much for all of them for free. But surprisingly, Pinterest is pretty much, this is the highest authority score a backlink can have. It's got a 100, like the authority scores go from 0 to 100. So Pinterest has a 100 level authority scores. A local newspaper will have a 70 level authority score. So let's take a look at why I picked that one. So this is an article about from a local newspaper, again, about MacU. So it's linking back to them. And I bet this is an advertorial as well. I'm sure MacU paid for that article somehow or got it because they were an advertiser on this newspaper. And in having an Indeed company page or even a Wikipedia page, most credit unions will be able to qualify for a Wikipedia page because you are a public institution. And surprisingly enough, having a Glassdoor page, a lot of us neglect our Glassdoor pages, but you can actually set up a Glassdoor page not only on glassdoor.com, which everyone uses in the US and Canada, but you can set up, what I found out in my research is some of the top ranking credit unions have Glassdoor pages on Glassdoor India, Glassdoor.ca, Glassdoor Canada, Glassdoor Australia. Anybody can set up additional company pages. Zoom Info is just like a business directory, and SiteLike. These are all easy business directories where you can set up citations or directory pages, and they all cumulatively help with your ranking over time. So this is an example of like a lot of people will be like, what's the point of a Pinterest page for a credit union? Well, VyStar has a great Pinterest page, and I'm sure they're just doing it for the SEO because nobody goes on Pinterest to look up credit unions. But they have actually made the most of it in that they put like inspirational quotes and so forth. And again, if we think about the type of audience for Pinterest, it's primarily women. It's recipe content, it's fashion content, it's home decorating content. These are still potentially the audience for your credit union, right? So a lot of content that you might produce anyway for social media can be repurposed for Pinterest. Again, taking advantage of that high authority score. I've also mentioned sponsorships and press releases. This is, again, VyStar. They were a sponsor for the American Lung Association. They got a very high authority backlink, 74 backlink authority score just by being a sponsor for, I think this must have been some kind of event. But again, great backlink here. And easy directory sites like Vymaps, a bit of a nothing directory site, I have to say, but an easy place to get your backlinks. And again, this is what we do day in, day out for our clients is make sure that, getting at least, 10, 20 backlinks a month that cumulatively improve your ranking. Another great reason, I don't know if you want to say yes, if everybody who's got a mobile app for their credit union, I think most do nowadays. But I know some, credit unions are debating, should we launch a mobile app? Is there a point? One good reason is it's great for your SEO. So the Apple App Store has a 100 authority score. So even if it's a very simple app, that's a great reason to have it, just to have that backlink to your credit union. So having a mobile app, really good for your SEO if you're trying to sell it internally. And I think Mark and I also help with mobile apps. So to show you kind of how all of this come together, this is a partner project with Napkin and On the Mark, but we recently did some work with Kelly Community. So Mark's team put together an amazing website, high converting website for Kelly, but we also worked on their SEO, and you can kind of see some of the results here over time. So they were after, few months into the project, they were ranking #1. So you're always going to rank #1 on your own keywords. So they obviously ranked #1 on Kelly Community Bank, Tyler, Texas. But we also got them ranking #1 on Auto Loan Tyler, Credit Union for auto loans, and some of these that are higher volume and competitive keywords that they really wanted to show up for in their community. So the progression on these, it takes time, but it's kind of the cumulative effect of working on the content, working on the link building, knowing what keywords you want to rank for, and slowly improving over time. So you can see kind of where they were ranking. For example, auto finance, they really wanted to focus in on auto loans. So they were in the #2 spot for auto finance, car loans, Texas. And we actually were doing a combo of SEO and SEM. So we were doing Google ads as well for them. And this is their other ranking for auto loan and auto finance. They were #1 for auto loan. So again, it's getting really intentional about like where, which ones you want to show up high on the page for. And this is also really important is the Google My Business page. So you could see they're in the top 3 here. And this is also a result of kind of cumulative efforts. So making sure that your Google My Business also needs to be optimized, that you're posting on your Google My Business. So that's the kind of behind the scenes work. As well on the backlinks, this is one of the backlinks we got for Kelly. And again, most of the sites that we get backlinks from, you're never going to have heard of them. They're not necessarily famous or well-known sites, or even, a lot of these sites are built for search engines, not necessarily for casual reading by people. But as long as they're a legitimate news site, they're still really beneficial for backlinks. But what I do recommend is if if you're working with us, we do recommend doing real press releases. We do recommend a media outreach plan so that you can get those more authoritative backlinks and press releases and real articles written about you. So this is kind of an overview of what we were doing on the paid search side. So we had the Google text ads going. We had, this is, I think, some of over the holidays, some of the auto loan ads we were working on. And these are some of the keywords we were working with. So Kelly Community Bank, you still want to advertise on your own keyword. But and one interesting thing you can do with the paid search is you can actually use the competitors' names as your keywords. So if someone's, if you want to use Navy Credit Union or MacU, you can actually still buy those keywords and advertise for when someone searches on them. And I don't know if anyone needs kind of a little background on search versus display. So the search ads are what shows up when someone actually searches on the keywords. The display ads were what we had set up retargeting for them. So once someone visited their site, they started to see these ads show up. We also did a hyper-local, going back to Mark's presentation, geo-targeted campaign. So this was off Google and on a geo-targeting specific platform that we work with. That it's not under Google Ads, but we also work with other geo-targeting platforms. So how it works is everyone within vicinity of a Kelly Community Bank, we set like a 20 kilometer or 10-mile radius would start seeing ads on their devices, on their phones, on their iPads, on their computers for Kelly Community. So we actually also set up geo-targeting, and these are some of the ads that we're showing. So you could also, that's another thing I highly recommend, is doing geo-targeting around your bank branches. You could also set your competitors' branches and put radiuses around there if you want to geo-target your competitors. Another little sneaky but legal thing you can do to just gain visibility. And how did this all turn out? So these are just some of the results we shared. These are old results. So, but to give you an idea, each of these is a landing page. And again, I haven't talked too much about landing pages, but you can have an amazing ad campaign. You can have really eye-catching ads, the right keywords. But if you don't have a good landing page and you're just sending people to your home page, or you're sending them to a landing page that doesn't have a clear call to action or a form they can fill out, an appointment booker they can fill out, you're really going to lose those advertising dollars. You might be wasting advertising dollars. So each of these landing pages were optimized to make sure that when we sent traffic to them, that those were actually capturing leads. So they had an apply for a loan page. And you can see from August to December, we went from 24 leads to getting 85 leads a month. The contact us page went from 18 leads a month to 48 leads a month after about 5 months. Now, again, it doesn't always have to move over 5 months. It doesn't always move this slowly. It really depends on your budget, optimization of the keywords, whether the client has a ready landing page or whether they let us design a great landing page. So again, but you can see like think of each of your landing pages as a trap in the forest, for lack of a better analogy, or a fishing spot, or a garden or something. I have to think of a less violent analogy. So you plant the seeds, and each of your pages on your website is designed to capture a certain amount of clients and traffic and leads. So don't just rely on your contact us page or your loan application page. Have pages on your site where maybe you're just giving away a lead magnet, maybe you're giving away a guide, maybe you're just letting people use a calculator, but that's going to capture those people who are earlier on in their buying journey. So hopefully, give me a yes if this is making sense so far, because I know I'm like blabbering on here. Perfect. So basically, SEO strategy, what I've shared in a nutshell: be intentional, pick the keywords you really want to target based on what's high volume, but also what makes sense for your client base and community. Create content on your website for the keywords you want to show up for. Optimize the pages you want to show up for. So make sure that the meta tags and the site codes are all singing from the same songbook in terms of the keywords that you want to be found for. And then create a backlink strategy for high page authority backlinks so that other sites are also vouching for you and sending links to the pages that you want to show up for those searches. And combine SEO and SEM. They work really well together. And SEM is great. We always recommend combining, because in the beginning, you want to be able to see results quickly. A lot of us, have targets to meet in terms of the membership targets or the loan targets that we want to accomplish every month and every quarter. So if you have, performance-driven targets that you want to meet, I always recommend starting with SEM, because you'll start seeing the traffic and you could start seeing the leads right away. And while you work on the SEO over time. So kind of diving a little deeper into SEM, into the paid search marketing. So I pulled a few examples here of what Mackie is doing with their text ads and their display ads. So again, the display ads will mostly you can have them show on other websites. I don't know give me a yes if you're doing, or tell me if you're doing text and display ads, if you want to say text, display, both. But a lot of times people kind of ignore display or ignore remarketing. And it's a great way of, especially I recommend doing both. So, because if you're going to spend money on doing text ads, you got to do remarketing. So once people visit your site, they're often, we have the attention span of squirrels nowadays. So they're often going to click off. Remarketing is a good way for them to continue seeing their ads as they visit other sites and hopefully come back and make an appointment, apply for a loan, and close the deal in one way or another. So these are the display ads for MACU. You can see they've got a display ads for their loan program. They've got member stories. A lot of credit unions are doing member stories. And they've got an ad here, looks like for their checking accounts, and 100 branches to serve you. So what's interesting is also what keywords they're advertising on. This is again like, this should be illegal information, but I have it anyway. So the keywords they're advertising on is Flagstar My Loans. So I think this is actually a competitor of theirs. They're also advertising on the keyword Capital One Loans. This gets 8,100 searches a month. All these numbers are the search volumes. Refi rates, 5,400 searches a month. So again, it's like a fast track pass when you're doing search engine advertising, because you can get shown on the first page of Google for these very high search volume keywords, basically by paying to advertise, right? So they're showing up for bank loan. This is an interesting one because intentionally misspelled keywords can be part of your ad strategy. So there's 140 searches a month for debt consolidation for people who can't spell debt consolidation. I thought as a spelling and grammar freak, this really annoys me. But as a marketer, I was like, oh, cool. So they're actually advertising on a misspelled keyword, interest-only loan. So this is really interesting to look at. And, some of the secrets here and takeaways is you can advertise on competitor keywords, you can advertise on misspelled keywords, and take advantage of those searches, because just because they can't spell doesn't mean they can't get a loan, right? And taking a look more at MACU, I can't tell if people are laughing, but that's okay. You're laughing in my mind. I don't know. Again, looking at MACU's, continuing to kind of look at their member acquisition campaign. These are more of their display ads, so you can kind of see what their, different campaigns they're doing. They're doing a car loan campaign. They're doing some video ads here. They're doing, promoting their rates, their lower rates, their credit cards. So they pretty much have a campaign rather than just having a general campaign for everything. They really have a campaign for each of their products. So that kind of gives you an idea of like how you can structure your campaigns with your paid advertising. So that's kind of can bring us into where else can we advertise. We all know Google advertising. There's also Facebook and Instagram advertising. Facebook and Instagram are both owned by Meta now. So this is actually some of the examples, again, focusing in on MACU. This is what they're doing for their Facebook advertising. So we're seeing a lot of video. And when it comes to Facebook advertising versus Google advertising, it's a kind of a different storytelling. Whereas this one was all about pushing product, or the messaging is all about different products geared towards different searches. So if someone's looking for low annual fee of credit cards, you're obviously going to show an ad that says credit card, no annual fee. Or if someone's looking for car loan, your ad's going to be about pre-approved car loan. Versus Facebook, they're really not looking for anything. So it's a little bit more about getting visibility, getting attention, telling the story of your credit union, and showing more the human side and the softer side. So here they're doing a giveaway with baseball tickets to the Sun Devils, their local team. They also have member stories videos here. So again, a little more storytelling and branding emphasis here with the Facebook ads and the Instagram ads. And videos, very important. So again, don't feel restricted that you have to make Hollywood level videos. We're seeing a lot of amateur video, handheld, iPhone level videos repurposed And we're producing videos as well for clients right now and repurposing for ads. So start taking advantage of video because, like I said, we've become a society of video watchers versus readers. So video will get more clicks, more attention, more conversions. And this is a nice campaign as well that we came across for ViStar, where they're using the carousel ads and promoting their checking and their account opening. So, and they're kind of promoting visiting the branch and opening a checking account, showing the bonuses you can get to open a checking account. So again, this is an interesting one to do on Facebook because it's like, it's definitely they're not just telling a story, they're aiming to generate leads for the new checking account. But again, it's, you know, we definitely see a softer, more branded approach with Facebook. And this is also again kind of continuing with ViStar. We're seeing the video ads kind of showing what they do in the community as part of their checking account opening campaign, and looking at, you know, going back to conversion, looking at their landing page. I think ViStar also does a nice job with the landing page, promoting specific branches. And again, we're seeing a lot of schedule an appointment. It's definitely something, if you're promoting someone to go to, that they're going to have to go to a branch to actually open an account, you better be giving them a link to get an appointment. I hope, you know, they might be looking in the middle of the night. They're going to forget to call the receptionist. Another thing they're offering here is the online chat. So again, another trend we see everywhere is people are phone phobic. They don't want to call a branch. They don't even want to email. So giving them online chat and letting them schedule an appointment is very consumer friendly nowadays. I'm getting the timing warning, so I'm going to flip through the rest here. Americ Credit Union, some great ads here. These are kind of similar to what we were doing with Kelly, but they're offering the renovation loans and the account opening loans here. And again, we're seeing make an appointment, apply for a loan as kind of the key conversion paths on the landing pages for these guys. And another thing I thought they were doing that was pretty innovative is doing the workshops. So home buying workshop. It's a great way to kind of get people. It's an in-person workshop, live workshop, but we also seeing Zoom workshops. So another way to kind of use that community engagement, get people into the branch. And they're promoting this on their website. So, and I thought I'd throw in, you know, just another loans one, debt consolidation. So this is another kind of high volume keyword where MACU's doing really well. And I really like their schedule an appointment page where they have an option for all their different branches here. So, and again, I can't overemphasize make an appointment. So important for nowadays for what people are looking for. So to kind of bring it all together, like I said, combine SEO and SEM, use SEM, use the Google ads for more of the intent-based marketing to show up when people are searching for specific keywords and specific services, loans, banking services, opening an account, use paid social for more engagement, branding, storytelling type marketing, and bringing it all together. So, and speaking of bringing it all together, I think that kind of is getting us to conclude. I'm getting the timing warnings from my team here. And we want to give you guys the tools to move forward with your marketing. Mark, feel free to chime in here. So we've got some great bonuses here, and I'm seeing some editing here that I need to finish. But what I would recommend, and Addie's going to share the links here. If you want to go ahead, Addie, and share the links in the chat for these two items. The first one is your instant SEO report that you can actually generate right now. It takes about 2 seconds to generate. And Addie, if you want to put the URLs in the chat there. So basically, just enter your URL, enter your name and email, and you will have an SEO report that looks like this. It's a really in-depth report. It's about 17 pages. And it tells you it gives you a letter grade for how you rank on certain aspects of your site. So what you're showing up for in your organic keywords, what organic keywords you're showing up for, gives you an assessment of your meta tags, where you stand with your meta tags, what the main backlinks you're showing up for. Also looks at your page speed and a lot of technical details about your site, how you're showing up for Google My Business, how you're showing up for reviews, and gives you an assessment in about 6 areas. So I highly recommend it. I won't take you through a whole one today, but I do recommend you actually sit down with us, and I'm offering a free consultation as well, so we can sit down, unpack that report for you, and show you, okay, based on this, how can we get some actionable strategies going to achieve your goals? And Mark, do you want to talk about the Goldilocks?
Absolutely. Yeah, you want your credit units earlier to be just right for potential members. So just download that link on the Goldilocks, and we're going to give you several different strategies and tactics that you can do to grow new members, grow your loans, and grow your deposits. Of course, you can also schedule a call with us. Just email mark@markarnold.com. Would love to follow up. And with any questions, anything I can clarify on, if you want to spend some time just chatting about your brand, your member experience, your website, your strategy, would love to do so. So just feel free to reach out at mark@markarnold.com. And thanks again for your time today.
Yeah, absolutely. Both Mark and I are really excited to actually meet with all of you one-on-one, find out more about your credit union, your town where you're operating, your local community, and see how we can help you apply all these down for your credit union. So at this point, I'd love to turn it over and hear from you guys. Any questions anyone have? If anybody wants to share, if you guys on the chat, if you want to, feel free, post one key takeaway that you learned today, or more than one if you wish. We'd love to know kind of what's the biggest thing that you're going to go off and implement in your credit union. Can be with or without us, but I'd love to hear what's one thing you learned today that you didn't know. Videos help you rank, more backlinks. Awesome. Yeah, definitely. And I know, like, I'm still like old enough to be video phobic, and I know most people, and the younger people on my team are very video happy, but it takes a lot for me to produce a video, but it's incredibly important as well, like just the way people are searching for information. And it's something, we've got a video editor on our team as well that we can help you implement video as well. And happy to, yeah, and you can use things like Canva if you want to DIY. Happy to open it up to any Q&As as well. I don't know if I can make it so that people can actually talk. But feel free to put your questions in the chat. Yeah, I would also love to know how we did. If you see a poll in the chat, feel free to post your answers to the poll. I'd love to know how we can, making sure we're providing really quality learning and information for you guys, and helping you in your marketing journey. And yeah, feel free to share any questions. And if anybody wants to be like a volunteer or a victim, as the case might be, I'm happy to do a credit union report here and kind of give you a little analysis. But sure, somebody ready to do it? mycentric.org. Okay, we have a volunteer. So let me copy that in.
Love to hear from my friends at Centric. Good client, good partners for a long time. Let's see how they do.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you, Melanie, for stepping up. Let's see what I might need your name and email to complete this. Am I still sharing? Okay. So, Melanie, you want to put your email in the chat so I can send this to you? Okay, perfect. And I won't make you put your phone number in the chat. I'm just going to put my phone number because public. So it's just generating the MyCentric report right now. Okay. It's saying that your page could be better. Let's see. Are we having, maybe I put the wrong URL. That will be embarrassing. Did I not put the HTTP maybe? No, that's, whoops. I'm going to try this again. Melanie. Tam, is everything working here with your testing?
Yes, I've been receiving report from the tool. But Melanie put an error to receive in the chat.
Here, we'll try this again. I know I've been like running reports all day. Okay, now it looks like it's running. Not responding to our crawler. So just saying it might be incomplete. So it looks like there's something in your site blocking, but it's saying your on page is very good. I'm going to take a look at the real report, but looks like parts of the reports that it crawls might be blocked, but it looks like what you're ranking for here is Centric Credit Union. So this is pretty typical, is ranking on your own name. So, typically we'll see that a credit union, the top rank keywords that it has is your own name. So this is good. But, if we did a deeper dive or had a consultation call with you, we could get a longer report and see this is kind of the first 10 or 15 keywords, but we could do like 100 keywords and see what you're ranking for beyond your name. And what this tells us is, hey, if you want to rank for not just your name, but commonly searched keywords like auto loan, car loan, etc., mortgage. I'm not sure where you located, Melanie. Here, let's see where. What's the website again? MyCentric. You want to see what city are you in? Oh, this might be why. I don't know if there's a block on this website, mycentric.org. Okay, that's weird. Yeah, maybe it's blocked because I'm searching from Canada. Maybe we can have Mark run that. But if you ran that from your location, it would work fine for you. But I don't think the report is affected, thank God. But it looks like you're ranking for your own branded names as your top organic keywords. You're currently in position 1 for 50 keywords. So again, this is telling me that, what are those keywords that you're in position 1? I'm suspecting it's going to be your branded keywords, but we can do a deeper report to find out. You have pretty decent amount of backlinks. So these are the backlinks you have. You're in the App Store, which is great. We know that's a high domain strength backlink. You're also, it looks like, is this iHeartRadio? So you're linked from a podcast. Again, any kind of mainstream media is a high domain strength backlink. So it looks like you're doing really great on the keywords. You've gotten a lot of news articles about you. And you're in a directory with the Zoom info. And the top pages that the backlinks are pointing to, mostly to the home page. So that makes sense because it's all like media articles. But you can also see some of the other pages. So if you want to emphasize other pages, like maybe a mortgage calculator page, auto loans page, checking page, you might want to kind of think about your backlink strategy to get more backlinks to that. And kind of giving you some information on your backlinks and which pages are linked to the most. And these are the top level domains, the TLDs. So basically, if you have a lot of .gov, for example, linking to you, that's also seen positively by Google algorithm. So it's saying most of the sites linking to you are .coms. You've got some 90 .orgs, .india. So that's kind of interesting. You have to again, we have to do a deeper dive and see like what's really behind the numbers, but it's kind of giving you an overview. It's also giving you an F in usability. So this is probably saying that the site is slow. So these large contentful paint, interaction to next paint, cumulative layout, this is all kind of measuring different files on the site, different how many images you might have on the site. So basically it's just saying that you're kind of failing the Google page speed, which also does affect the algorithm and how you rank. So it's giving you some recommendations of what you can do on the site to improve technically to like lower your page speed, basically to make it faster, increase your page speed. So these are all, when I see things like this, we typically pass it over to our web developer. They do the necessary fixes. Sometimes they have to reduce the amount of JavaScript. I see this a lot when there's a lot of photos on the page, when there's any animation on the page, when there's any kind of like special effects, that does tend to slow down the site. So that's all stuff, there's also ways you can upload images on the site so that they're not taking up, their full file capacity, but still rendering in good quality. Even, having legible font sizes, all of these are kind of factors in the algorithm. It's also saying optimizing images, minification. So it's saying there's code on your site that's taking up a lot of memory, and that's why it's slowing down your site. This is also important stuff to know. It's just like your server IP, DNS servers. Typically, this site, this report actually goes even longer. I'm thinking maybe because you have that country blocker. I wonder if it's because I'm searching from Canada. It's not showing the full report, but typically it will. If you run it from your location, I'm thinking you'll get all 17 pages. Because typically it shows like the Google My Business results and stuff like that as well. So it looks like anybody else want to be a victim, or feel free to run this on your own. We'll also be sending the links out to everyone. And it was amazing to work with you. Kyle's got one, so I'll stick around and do Kyle's. I know some of you have to jump. So it's been amazing to virtually meet you all, and look forward to meeting you more personally one-on-one.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day, and we will talk to you guys soon. Have a great rest of the day.
Thanks, guys. And let's see, I think Kyle was looking to, now I lost Kyle's link. I have to scroll up.
All right. If you guys anything else, let me know. We'll do a debrief if you'd like at a later time. So
yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much, Mark.
Thanks, Adina. Take care. Everybody else have a great rest of the day. And Adina, if you want to do a debrief later today or tomorrow, we can do that too. So
yeah, sure. Yeah.
Take care.
This afternoon. Okay,
Bye
take
now.
care. Hey, Kyle. I don't know if I can let you is there a way I can let Kyle talk, Addie, or is there a way you can unmute him or something? Let's see what TIC Credit Union has. Kyle, can you put your email in the chat so I can email this to you? And feel free to put your phone number if you feel comfortable. Is it Kyle Williamson? Or is that a different Kyle? Kyle Trondle. Okay. Okay, and I'll put your link in the chat there. All right, so let's take a look at TIC Credit Union. I'm going to open the real site.
Oh, thanks for sticking out to do this, by the way.
Oh, no problem. Am I like blocked in Canada from all these? No, that I think I'm missing. I have an extra C.
Oh, that might be what it was. I
yeah.
didn't think we had extra.
Oh,
we're right near Canada, so it's not uncommon for us to get Canadian views.
Oh, cool. Okay, so there's your website. And let's see if it generated a report. Oh, okay, there it is. So it's giving you an overall B, and it looks like the report ran properly for you guys. So you guys don't have those blockers. So you're getting an A- on page SEO, C+ on links, D- on usability, A+ on performance and social. So let's see what it's saying. So it's recommending you need to include a meta tag on your homepage, improve core web vitals using your keywords across all the pages. So these are kind of the overall recommendations. But it is saying you're missing some meta tags. This is kind of how you're showing right now on Google. That's your search SERP snippet. And the keywords that you are showing for, I think this looks like it needs some work because this looks like very unintentional keywords that you're showing up for organically. So this is where I think the SEO work would need to be done, because your main keyword you're showing for is external, which sounds like it was probably put in by a programmer, definitely not by a marketer. But you want to have keywords in there that make sense for searches like, mortgage, checking account, savings account, zero interest, credit card, whatever you want to promote. But it looks like just the keywords look kind of unintentional here. Am I right, Kyle?
Yeah, we had just actually done a website rebrand very recently. So prior to this, we didn't have anything. So that might be a good portion of this too. It's kind of new for us.
Yeah, that makes sense. And we do see that a lot when companies do like a new redesign of their website, that typically they'll do the SEO as an afterthought. So it's not uncommon. But then you kind of, once you do a rebrand, you realize whoever built your website didn't do anything for the SEO. So then you kind of have to backtrack and go through all the new pages and put the SEO back in, or put it in the first place. So basically, right now you're showing up for phrases like external website, which again sounds like the programmer named the page external website, or credit union, TI credit union. So, and again, page external, these look like programmer words to me. So I think it would be worthwhile, if you guys were my client, like sitting down looking at what keywords do you actually want to show up for. Where are you guys located?
We're right near Detroit, Michigan.
Okay, so if you want to show up for Detroit Credit Union, etc., those are the kind of keywords that we would be targeting. It's also saying like none of your images have alt attributes, so that's a way to also get higher in the search engines, is having the images be named for the keywords you want to be found for. So this is kind of giving you just showing you some of the problem areas that might need to be worked on. T&I credit union, so you are showing up again like that other credit union. You're showing up for your branded keywords, but you're not showing up for kind of the generic searches, right? And then in terms of backlinks, you do look like you have backlinks. And again, is this the backlinks to the pages that you want to be showing for? So that's the question. But it looks like at least you do have at least 1,000 backlinks. So one thing to watch for is sometimes, companies will have backlinks from years before, and some of the backlinks will be like known as toxic, right? So some of them will be sites that Google's, blacklisted or whatever. So that kind of might need a deeper analysis, is like sometimes you need to disavow your backlinks. And these are the top pages being promoted by backlinks as well right now. And this looks a little better because the pages that the backlinks are pointing to are the Get Credit Union Personal Loan. How can we help? So again, probably need to do a deeper dive and just see, are these the pages you really want to promote right now? Are they right now from you looking at it?
I'd say probably like 50-50.
And I think I told you guys about the domain TLDs before. Usability. So this is showing how you look on mobile and how you look on tablet or desktop. It does look like your pop-up kind of hiding the menu a little bit, like because you've got a number of pop-ups here. So I would take a look at like maybe reducing the amount of pop-ups. And it's also like slowing down your site. So it's saying that, you're getting, what did it give you? That's probably why you got a D-, because these pop-ups are great because you want to promote certain things, but they also do slow down the speed. So that's why you're getting the low mark there. Email privacy, you're not using Flash, but this is another thing a lot of companies do. They just put their email addresses on there, which puts you at a risk for spamming or phishing. So that's something you probably want to fix. Your page speed, it's actually, I think this is like file size and this part is page speed. So your page speed is actually not too bad.
Okay, so the file size needs to get knocked down essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like, see, in this version of the report, like the other one was being blocked because this is what's typically being shown, is like how much JavaScript files you have, how many HTML pages. You're getting a B+ in social, except you don't have the Facebook pixel. You've got your Instagram, so you don't have a YouTube channel linked. So that's an area where I would recommend you work on after everything we said about video. Your local SEO, so it's not finding you for your Google My Business page, your address is not showing up. Do you guys have a physical branch?
Yeah, that's
okay.
pretty
So
I need to put that on the new website. Okay, I'm gonna have to look at that later on.
Yeah, so it is saying you got to look at, I don't know if it's maybe just not
just
showing up on your website.
You know what it might be is we use CallRail for tracking purposes, and I'm wondering if the number on our website to show specifically is from the website, is it matching the Google My Business?
Yeah, and it also, like, you might want to actually put your address somewhere on your website. Sometimes it's buried in a map component.
Okay.
And it's also saying like you got a check mark for Google reviews. You got 116 reviews, and they look like 5 stars. So you're doing great on reviews. And this is just kind of your technology list. This is a good like back pocket thing to have, just if you ever need to update your website. Looks like you're on Squared Space. So it helps for if you're working with agencies like ours and we're like, what do you have on your website, or what's your platform? And this kind of, you could hand that over and tell us everything we need to know with that.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So feel free to, if you want to book a chat, kind of go in a deeper dive. What's nice to do after you look at that initial report is actually go in, and if you told us like your top 3 competitors, we could do a competitor review and just see like, okay, who are your local competitor credit unions in your community, and how can we kind of steal their lunch? or basically like look at their backlinks, look at where they're advertising. All the analysis I did in the presentation, you can do on specific companies, right? So you could
Yeah.
take a look at, look for advertising ideas, or we could, I don't know, are you doing Google Ads right now?
Yes, we do currently do Google Ads.
Okay, so we could kind of review where you're at and kind of see where you want to go in terms of next steps.
Okay, I did have two
So-
questions really quick, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Just want to know, you mentioned like the file size, obviously it looks like it's kind of slowing things down just a little bit, or a little too large. If I were to go back through just on my end today and like just take them off temporarily, see what the difference would be, would that show right away, or is that like I have to wait time to see that result?
No, it should give you like an instant, yeah, you should see pretty instantly because it's kind of using the same code for the report that Google uses for its live site speed test. So you should be able to see pretty quickly, like as long as, the page is up to date with the changes, you can see your score change. So it's a good self-checking tool.
Okay, and then the other question, if I were to kind of reach out with the consultation and stuff, and I mentioned the competitors, if we don't currently have, I guess, like, for our current, we're smaller, a set list of like, hey, these are the people we're directly, we want to compete with. We have a very oversaturated market. What's a great way to narrow that list down?
I would just pick 3 like that are your top competitors. You could always, we can always expand the list. We could also, if you tell us, we could do multiple. I mean, we could do more than 3. So I would recommend just book an appointment with me. Send me email me in advance. Tell me, the main competitors you're thinking of, and we could at least start with like half a dozen and see what we learn from there.
All right, sounds good. I appreciate it.
Okay, perfect. Nice to meet you. Thanks
Pleasure to
again,
meet you.
everyone. And yeah, and have a great afternoon. And hopefully that recorded everything. All right, team, I'll see you back on Teams.